move that. Let me know if I move the pages document too far.
No, I mean, I can't actually see anything. Wait a minute.
You're supposed to, yes,
Wait,
you're
what?
supposed to be on your computer.
Wait, what am I doing?
Go to YouTube.
Oh, why?
Because that's how we watch. That's how you watch from from your computer.
Oh, but I've seen this before.
This is how you make sure everything's in frame. This is how you follow along with chat.
Oh, I don't follow chat.
Oh my goodness. Hello, everyone.
Where's the thing? I think I deleted it. I think I closed the window.
Oh. Everyone's saying it's echoing double noise.
Okay.
How is it any different from last time? Where last time we got people saying how crisp we were. We haven't changed any audio input, right?
I don't think so.
Would it be something in here?
Go to audio caption, input capture.
Like double click?
Wait, no, not that. Not that. How's that, everybody?
Okay, so double noise, just double Jesse and David. That could be crazy.
Did that work?
Oh, it's back to normal. Yes. Okay.
Yeah, all right.
Okay. Woo! Had me a little terrified. Yeah, Jonathan, YouTube heard. It's like, oh, you want some pears? Here you go. My goodness.
You know, this is the fifth time we've done this. You'd think we'd get better.
We're doing just fine. Thank you.
Oh my
Thank
goodness. You. Anyway.
So yes, hello everyone.
Welcome. It's
And Magpie, you're absolutely right. New season, new technical difficulties.
Yeah, you gotta scoot if you want people to see me at all.
I am over.
Frankly, nobody should want to see me. I'll tell you what's going on right now. We're having a phenomenon here in Southern California, which is called the Santa Ana Winds. If you watched Crazy Ex-Girlfriend, you'll now be familiar with it and perhaps the song. But anyway, whenever it comes up, it lays me low. And so this is my voice for right now. And right now, things are a little bit okay. But it may get worse as the stream wears on. Anyway, those who have really bad allergies like I do just have to suffer through it.
Yes. But you will also find out, this is why I was cut off the screen quite a few times in our other previous streams where I was not here. And you're also going to find out that little TV goes over your face quite often unless you sit up, which is why I kept stretching up so often.
You know what we should do? We should put it up in the upper right-hand corner. It's not really going to be cutting anything off. That's just old chat, you know? So it's like the new chat's down here. It would have to be a really long line that was up there. It would only get cut off, but people will have read it by then.
That's true.
All right. So
we'll fix
next
it for
episode.
Next time.
And from now on, the little LangTime Studio logo is going to be in the upper right-hand corner. I should have thought of that before now.
Mateus loves your shirt.
Oh, that's right. Let me show you. This was a Christmas present from Jesse. A brand new LangTime Studio shirt featuring a little mouse pilot and his co-pilot or passenger?
Well, navigator.
Navigator, that's right.
Holding a map.
Of course.
Come on now.
Yeah.
And obviously you're the pilot and I'm the navigator, as is usually the case in life.
Oh. That's really nice. I like that.
Miles is asking when it's going to go into the merch shop.
Oh, that's right. Actually, should we announce that? Here, why not? This is all about impromptu stuff that just kind of happens. I don't even know how to get to it. But
I would need to get to it on my computer if
yeah,
you want
I know.
them to see.
Yeah, I don't know how to get to it. But we've been for the past couple of months been putting together a shop that's entirely separate from Patreon. And I think this is how you get to it. Let's take a look.
Is it still private?
I don't think it ever was.
Oh, okay.
Let's find out here. So I need to get this to you somehow. You know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna put it in Discord, but then you have to pull up Discord,
I
won't
have
you?
to pull up Discord to get it on here. What you could do is,
Put it
if
in
you want
chat.
them, yeah, you could put it in chat and I could click on it.
Let's see
Because
if
we can post links in chat.
let's see if it'll let me do it. Let's see if it'll let me do it. But here, I'll put it on. Uh,
And this is David typing a message on Discord first before doing it here.
Yep.
So.
All right. And so now the next thing we have to do
Ooh,
is.
it pulled up.
Yeah. Now the next thing we have to do is go to. What am I doing?
You're going to chat in
chat
YouTube.
in YouTube. Where's that?
Oh my goodness.
I think I closed it already. Did I close it again?
No, it's right there.
Oh my God, it's right there. Let's see what happens. Yeah.
Whew.
You like that, Carl? This is why I said I couldn't work yesterday, and
He sounds better today than he did yesterday.
I do, but honestly, it may be bad news for tomorrow as well. I'm sorry to say. Let's see. Did that come through?
It did.
All right, let's see what happens.
Oh my gosh.
Criminy, that's no good.
Can I drag that over to the...
Here,
Wait,
pull it. You go on there and... No. Don't do that. Don't do that.
Oh.
Let me show you.
But I was going to try to pull it over to the...
There you go. See? And you can just pull it. And so, anyway, there we go. So we've been working on a bunch of things, including... I wanted to have more news, but we're not going to... It's going to have to be a little minute. You can also see the new CopyCon logo.
Oh, yes. It's our logo. You see the T'Pachla over here.
Yeah.
Oh, and here. Yes. Oh, and yeah, we got all these categories. A lot of really amazing things here.
Yeah.
And they're not all stickers. This is just the sticker page where it starts. There's t-shirts. I've seen water bottles, backpacks. Like you've got all sorts of merch.
Yeah, but like especially that Stay Grammar one, it looks really good on black. You got to put it on black. You can't really see it because there's white lines out there. Yeah. Pretty cool.
Oh, and this is CopyCon.
Yeah,
in
the mouse font.
Yeah.
Anyway.
So much good stuff.
Yeah, so we did some stuff. But the stuff that on Patreon is still exclusive.
Oh, Jonathan, this sticker, you have to put it on black because it's essentially that pirate flag like the Mouse Jolly Roger, but it's not going to come across unless it's actually on something black.
Yeah, here, I'll show you a couple of these. As if you, I want, make this, do the shirt thing. Where does it become a shirt? There we go. Haha, dog mat. We're going to look at this dog mat. Yeah,
oh my God,
see?
That's amazing.
Now you can see it. Okay, and so then...
We're going to need to get one of those and a dog to go with it.
Gosh. And now, to really see the mouse pirate sticker, see, that doesn't really... I mean, actually, that kind of cool. That's kind of cool. But really, I intended it to be on black. It's going.
Most everything is an option. So yeah, I need to get one of those shirts.
That's really cool. Anyway.
And so that works. Magpie, you're absolutely right. This is the ideal season to get a dog.
Oh my goodness. Anyway, so yeah, just wanted to share that, and there will be more news about CopyCon soon.
Yes.
I was really hoping to do a big announce today, but that's all right. We got other things to do, other fish to fry.
Yes. And I also realized I shouldn't be scrolling through the chat because I remember sometimes that messes things up. I'm used to scrolling on mine when I miss stuff.
It messes things up?
Remember one time you were doing with it? And anyway, I feel like something else was set up above, though, that we were going to address, or I was, and now I've forgotten.
You know what I'm going to do? I'm going to pull it up on my telephone. You remember when I used to do that?
Why are you doing that? You have it all right here.
Because I want the document here. I don't want that there. It's a small screen.
Welcome to my world.
I know, but we have telephones for exactly this reason.
All right. Oh, Miles wants to get a dog. Oh, you really should. I think did you post that one picture of me and Winston on Discord?
Oh, I don't remember.
If not, well, actually, there's two pictures I think that should have been posted if they weren't. So if they weren't, I'll make sure they get posted. She'll get to see me with my favorite dog.
There we go. And it needs to be on live chat, not live chat, top chat. There we go. Okay.
And then my favorite small dog is, of course, Wilfred.
You know what I want to be able
My
to
second
do?
favorite small dog is Max.
I don't know if you can do this. So I'm on the phone watching our stream right now.
Mm-hmm.
Can I make it landscape, but instead of seeing the video, just see chat?
No, because it's going to pull up the video and kind of ignore the chat part of it.
I'm going to just do this.
I'm not sure your thing popped out is going to help as much as you think.
No, it's not going to.
We need like a...
I got it.
Okay.
I got it.
Oh my God, that is so dangerous. Okay, so when you hear a... That's David's phone falling off a plushy chair onto the floor. I know what I need to announce today.
Yes.
Okay. So, Ragdoll is asking anything for cats, but not yet, because if you recall, he is just finished with the Sarkisian font.
Yeah.
And still needs to do I feel like you had said there were a couple more kerning issues you wanted to check out before you made anything official.
Also a couple more punctuation marks. So by the way, somebody had asked this Saturday, which is going to be a Patreon live stream this Saturday at 1 p.m., if we were going to work on Mogadishu or Sarkisian. I think we're going to work on Sarkisian. I want to...
Yeah, that would be really good. And so anyway, once the font is completely finalized, there will be cat stuff up on the site. We just it's hard to do that when you don't have the language and the font in place.
I do want to say this though really briefly, and I know you've got an announcement, but really briefly. So I know that some of the patrons got a lot of flack for the style they chose for the font last time. A lot of us,
David.
Yeah, I know. A lot of us were hoping for a different font style, but after the whole thing is done, even though I'm not satisfied with some of the characters, when you type it out, it looks darn good. It looks really good, and so what can I say? You were right. It looks great, and I think you'll see that once we put it all together.
And in saying that, he even like reduced it down to a 12-point font size to just make sure it looked good from just typing in a document, and it looks good at every size. And so it's really, really exciting.
Yeah. So thank you. You were right.
Yay. Okay, Miles, it's a lesson in learning to settle. Okay, so I did want to say, I don't know if you're here, but I feel like you also sometimes catch it from a distance. Happy birthday to Naninaya. It is your birthday, I think, in 2 days, I think. Anyway, it's coming up. Oh my gosh, I have like the date staring at me really big and I'm looking around. And I also have a nice LangTime calendar right there. But happy birthday, Naninaya, if you are listening. Hope you have a wonderful day. And I know the other thing. I was going to say welcome to one of our viewers who has said they finally made it live and it's very exciting. I believe your username was Eclipse or something similar to that. So welcome. Glad you made it. And yeah, hope you can follow along for as much of this season as you are able. Life happens.
Yeah, it sure does. And so on we march. Several people are very excited for the beginning of season number 5, where we finally get to dogs. And the first thing you'll notice is, of course, Jessie is in the lead on this one. And there's Jessie's little crocheted dog, so cute little collar. Anyway, if you scroll down, by the way, you can see we've got a new season, so new patron names.
And red is our new color.
No, blue is the new color.
Oh.
Red was for 2 seasons.
Oh, but this is in red.
Yes, it is. Yeah, they don't match very well.
Gotcha. We were working through the rainbow in this one.
Yeah.
This we were working through the colors associated with the animals.
Yeah, because these colors aren't associated with the season. They're associated with how many seasons you supported us. So for people that were in blue, they've supported us all 5 seasons, and we are very, very grateful.
Very grateful, yes.
Yeah. All right.
And so, so we've got, woohoo, new season.
And...
Oh my God, no, pages, come on now. There we go, thank you.
Okay, so
Oh my gosh.
While at beach balls, let's
I did too much. I double clicked in a cell and clicked out of the table.
yeah,
It was too much.
let's review some of the things that have been said already about the dog language. I want to kind of eschew one of them straight off the bat. So there was an idea that because apparently dogs can't distinguish minimal pairs, and so, for example, a minimal pair in something like English would be tick and talk. That is, there's only one difference between these two words, and it's the vowel. And minimal pairs are very important in human language because, like, every language has them. And it helps linguists to figure out what sounds the speakers distinguish that are important for meaning. So, for example, like tick and tick are not distinguishable by English speakers. So tick and versus tick, same thing. But there is actually a difference there. One of them is aspirated and one of them isn't. It just so happens in that position, English speakers don't care. However, tick and talk, that difference is important. Whereas, for example, another one, for example, tick and teak, there are some languages that wouldn't distinguish that. Those vowels would essentially be treated as just two different ways of saying the same vowel. Maybe one would be a little strange. Anyway, there is a theory out there, I don't even remember who found this, that dogs cannot distinguish minimal pairs, and so there was an idea we had that there was not going to be any minimal pairs in this language.
Do you know what language should not have minimal pairs?
What?
The duck language, because that study was done by a quack.
Woo! Woo! Snap! So, I wanted to say two things about it, though. Number one, we're not going to do that, so let's just put that idea to bed. But number two, Logan sent us an email where he, I believe, effectively demonstrated that you could have a language that had no minimal pairs. You would have to allow for more phonetic variety than I think is something that we want.
Yeah.
In order to get a number of roots that would allow you to build a language. Now, the number of roots is going to be smaller than something like a regular language, like English or Russian or whatever, because you just can't produce that many different roots without doing minimal pairs. But you can produce enough. You can produce enough roots to actually make a full language, not even a minimalist language, a full language. You can do it. So I just want to acknowledge that that's possible, but that we're not going to do it.
Yes.
Okay.
No, and I never said it was not possible.
Oh, sure.
I just want to make sure that is clear. That is just not something that I was interested in for this kind of language, partially because you're exactly right. The phonemic inventory would have to be kind of larger to support that.
Yeah.
And also, it would be interesting in some ways because vocabulary creation would really force you to use those set roots that you have.
Yeah,
like
you have to do a lot of compounding.
These are it. You're going to have to work with it. But at the same time, yeah, it was not super interesting to me. Now, what was super interesting to me for this language, which of course is not, we're staring at the sound system, but the idea that I know a lot of people had talked about and had been requesting for a while, I do want this to be a more analytic language. Yeah. And by more analytic, I'm not saying it's going to be like totally analytic. We may have some affixes or something, maybe some clitics or something, but it's not going to be a lot. It's going to be limited. And so it will definitely be a more analytic language, which is something we haven't super done yet. Mm-hmm. And I'm excited to dive into that and those possibilities, especially because I know a lot of people had questions about, like, what does that mean to have to use more auxiliaries, and what does that mean for the grammar? How does that affect word order, things like that. So, like, I'm really excited to jump into those issues. And I also think that it really supports how I think of dogs.
Yeah. I think so too. It's like when you think of a dog and how they communicate, it's like, woof, 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 like these single bursts of,
Yes.
noise. And it feels like, well, it's kind of cool. Like, imagine if they could produce more sounds,
Mm-hmm.
right? It seems like that would feel kind of natural. And so I think that'll be really fun. I did mention consonant mutations, and since there was a question about what that meant on the Discord, I wanted to talk about that a little bit. I think a lot of people think, when they think of consonant mutations, they think of modern, Irish and Gaelic,
Mm-hmm.
where consonant mutations, it's a phonological phenomenon where an initial consonant will change in certain situations, but it actually has morphological repercussions. But the reason for that is that the conditioning environment, first of all, was narrow and has also disappeared.
Mm-hmm.
And so now nothing is left but the mutation to bear the morphological load. Now, consonant mutations don't have to do that. It can be a purely phonological phenomenon. So, for example, in Finnish, I gave the example, there is regular consonant mutation, not initially, but medially, and it has to do with a syllable pattern.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, for example, Scotland, this is a borrowing, but it shows it. So, Skotlanti is how you say Scotland in the nominative. In the inessive, it's Skotlannissa, where the NT has become a double N. And that happens regularly. So an MP will become an MM and so on. And the reason is because basically, and of course, NN is considered to be like a quicker sound than NT. NT is like more fortis,
Mm-hmm.
NN is lentis. And in the case of Finnish, basically, consonants will shorten if the syllable after the syllable after it is heavy, which is really, it takes a lot of getting used
Mm-hmm.
to. But basically, the way I think of it is like you're worked up so much about that heavy syllable that's coming that you want to speed through this one. And anyway, so like it ends up manifesting itself like for example, in the noun cases, it ends up manifesting itself in specific noun cases, but not because of the noun cases. It's because of the syllables that are coming ahead of it. It's purely phonological. And so for something like this, you can imagine if we did prepositions, for example, you could see initial consonant mutation where it was just dependent on the shape of the preposition, what happens after it. And so in that case, it's like it wouldn't be morphological, it would be purely phonological. But then, because that's essentially what happened with
Yeah.
Gaelic, but then the prepositions were lost. So,
So then
yeah.
yeah. And one other thing that I found fun was I was recently reading a paper about a language called Mono, or Mono, maybe, because it's
Wow.
Mono.
Okay.
And so probably Mono, probably
Mm-hmm.
not Mono as it is in English. Um, and they have a minimal word structure requirement,
Mm-hmm.
whereby every root, if it's just on its own, has to have at least two syllables. And so, like, for instance, if the root is ma, it does a copy vowel, ama, and it has to do that. But then in, compounds, when they come together, if it's a two-syllable thing, it's going to be ama when it's on its own, but just ma in the compound because it's, something else is
Ooh.
added to it. So I found that really interesting. But some languages have the same requirement without having a two-syllable requirement. They either require a light syllable to have a copy vowel insertion, or it has to be a heavy syllable, like with a coda or a diphthong. And so it just needs to be, if it stands on its own, it's either got to be two syllables or one heavy syllable.
Yeah.
And so, like, that was also really interesting to me, especially as we're going into an analytic language where we're going to potentially have a lot of roots standing alone. I was like, that could be a fun thing to think about. I'm not saying I'm going to do it, not saying we're going to do it, but just saying, like, that to me was really intriguing. And like, if you're working on your own language and that sounded cool to you, I highly suggest looking into languages that do have a minimal root structure, where there's like a requirement where it has to meet certain requirements to be able to stand alone as a word.
Yeah, English either has or had something like that. So, for example, if you think about a key that opens a door, really, if you just say it, it's key,
Mm-hmm.
and it's kind of a longer vowel. Versus in something like keto, like a keto diet or a quinoa, it's just longer when it's just sitting by itself. Ki, tree, be, and so on. Something that challenges that is fa, which is short, and which is why a lot of people way, way, way back used to say fo, because it was like, I didn't know how to pronounce it. And we never allowed something like that in English. Suddenly we allow it, and so it's like, well, is it fine now then?
Meh.
By the way, I forgot my water. I'm going to pop up and get that.
No.
Anyway, so
Yes.
now don't do anything wild while I'm gone.
Totally wild. And Jonathan, that's a good question. I was reading in the paper and I can't remember where it was spoken. But I know Kenneth Olson did a lot of studies on it. And so if you see Kenneth Olson attached to it, that was the study that I was actually reading about the word minimal requirement. And I know that Ji becoming Iji was one of the examples. And so that, and Ma and Ama was, I didn't just pull that one out of my hat. That one was actually, one of the examples in there. So, first and foremost, like one of the things about this language, I was like, well, we have to have an oo and an o. We have to. If for no other reason, we also have to have an ah. If for no other reason than because I like to quote Fox and the Hound to David, I'm a hound dog. So I do love beagles, and they have the cutest howls. And my dear friend Kay has a beagle named Howl for her howls, and I love her. But also, when I was young, the very first dog I grew up with for the first 5 years of my life was named Nico. And Nico was a full-blooded Alaskan Malamute Husky. And if you know those dogs, then you know that they're natural. They don't actually bark. They can kind of do a yipping sound that's not quite a bark, but they howl, and that is what they do. So my youngest memories of dogs is all howls.
So I'll post this on Discord, but I had a dog from, I think, the time I was 10 years old till my first year of college. There was a beagle, and her name was Brandy. And this is me and Brandy, and then my cousin Naylene. In the 80s, you can see me wearing a TNC shirt, which...
you see, this is why you stay on YouTube.
Yeah.
And then you wait.
Why is there such a delay?
Oh my God, babe, you're like way behind. You're not even close to being live. So you're going to be holding it there for 20 minutes. Or longer. Or no, it's got to be all the way to the right.
What?
That little red dot has to be all the way to the right for it to be live.
All the way to the right?
Because you haven't stayed on the screen.
Oh my God. Okay, whatever.
That's why you stay on the screen if you want to keep up with it.
And now it's black. It just turned to sleep.
Okay.
Oh my God. Anyway, so that was Brandy, my dog Brandy, and I loved her so much. Anyway, and she absolutely would howl. It was great.
Oh my God. Okay. Carl did something similar with his conlang. And Karis, thank you. The gosh, I'm gonna say it wrong. Is it Ubungian Mono? Ubungian?
Where is it?
Right.
Ubungian Mono. Yeah.
But yes, and so definitely. That was way more than 10 seconds, Miles. I feel like that was like a good 45 seconds of David being like, where is it? Okay. So definitely we need ooh, oh, ah. I actually thought it would be kind of interesting to have a 4-vowel system.
Really? Huh. I think
to start. You want a lot?
I think we're going to need more. I think we're going to want more.
Oh.
Because, really? Well...
I'm just teasing you. No, please talk.
But, just to accommodate the number of syllables that we want.
Mm-hmm.
But okay, so but let's here. Shall I assume that we're going to, at least for the moment, eschew with opposite rounding vowels?
Yeah, yeah.
All right, let's start making some decisions here.
And this is really bizarre. It's like because we are both you in this document.
By the way, well, actually, let's just go with the low vowels first.
Yeah.
Okay, so we have ah,
Mm-hmm.
ah,
Aw.
ah. Okay,
Come on, these are oh.
I love it.
Um,
Okay.
okay, Miles, I do. Okay, so see, Jonathan, you were also thinking a lower number of vowels, and so that is really interesting. And I think one of the reasons I had originally thought that, again, totally willing to have more vowels, was that I really felt like there would be diphthongs as well, because in the howls you get a lot of "arr, arr," and so
Sure.
like you get a lot of movement in there. So I thought like we could really have a lot of different diphthong shapes. I don't know how many we would end up keeping with sound changes, but like I really thought we would have a lot of those. Now Miles is saying avoid
Front?
E.
Yeah, that's actually something I was wondering. I don't feel like dogs make that e sound a whole lot.
But well, that is interesting. But yeah, W. Watson, the E U O A, or like an E A, kind of like indistinguishable, where it's like this front vowel in this space.
Let's call it
Sometimes comes out as E, sometimes as A.
let's call it e for right now.
Um, but yeah, the schwa I think is very helpful. Now the central E I'm less excited about because I don't like that one.
It's also
E
high.
E E. Ooh, I feel like when you're really paying attention to dog mouths, like they do just so much more back here. And with their lips. They do a lot with their
They do, yeah.
I guess they're not really called lips in actual dog world, but like the cheek parts that hang down. Oh, yeah. Um, I like how we're going to be distinguishing the RDVs, the real dog vowels.
Uh-huh.
Yeah. So yeah, those RDVs though they are
They don't sound front.
lower.
They don't sound front to me.
Yeah, they don't really sound front to me either. But they definitely sound.
I mean, I'm willing to look at spectrograms and see data to convince me otherwise, but they don't sound front.
Um, 2, 3, 4. All right, so we have 5 vowels on the board right now.
Yeah.
Did we want to add more back in? Were you unhappy with that? We can add more back in through sound changes, of course, which may mean also deleting some.
Yeah.
Because you never know what's going to happen once we start. Right, tincture. The A stands for yeah.
Yeah.
Anything front. But actually, because when I think about dogs, as I mentioned, I do think about um, kind of the extreme sounds. Um, and so I do want to consider having a uvular system in this language. And so system, uvular,
Yeah.
you know what I'm saying? Line? No. What is the set? Series. Series is
yeah.
the word I was looking for. I was like, it's an S word. But system was not the word I wanted. But yeah, I would be interested in exploring that. I don't know what that will mean in terms of having velar, if we will only do uvular. I don't know what that means otherwise, but like I'm even more interested in having uvular than I am having glottal.
Okay.
And that may surprise some people because I know there's a lot of chit chat about
Well,
what sounds I can do.
let's talk about the glottal region really quick. First of all, you just want to say no to glottal stop.
Yeah.
Okay. So now let's talk about H.
I'm right now kind of ambivalent about H. I feel like if we did have the uvular fricatives, or even just one fricative, I feel like that could give us the opportunity for potentially getting an H later down the line. I feel like we could. I don't know. I mean, if we want to be really wild, we could add in the epiglottal instead of glottal.
Um,
Because I heard you making some sounds over here.
yeah, like, right? Yeah.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Or pharyngeal, I guess.
yeah, like effectively you just say it's in that region. Um, because it's like I'll tell you what, it's like I'm certainly not opposed to the uvular fricative, but I just feel like I hear them resting on a weaker sound a little bit, the roar,
Okay.
and it does feel a little like it's not glottal but
Not
pharyngeal.
glut, yeah. And I could see pharyngeal for dogs because they do a lot of those. It is that sort of like as they're getting ready to bark or as they're calming down from barking.
Hmm.
They do, and it's a constricted sound, kind of like what like what David was doing there. Something I will definitely have to practice on if we keep that sound. Um, but it is sort of a and you get that blow of air that is, yeah, you're
Yeah.
right, weaker but also stronger than the glottal H.
To give us a little more space, do we want to eliminate dentals?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I had a feeling. And so now we can delete that column, get a little bit more space here.
Because I feel like labial will definitely be, because they can kind of flap their lip.
Yeah.
They can
Yeah.
they can flap their mouths together.
Yeah.
Um, and do things like that. And so, and definitely the W has to be a part of this language because it just has to. I Oh, go on, yeah, because I was about to say another sound that I wanted to keep.
This is going to be pretty radical. So Miles had this idea to entertain the possibility of T versus th, which is a pharyngalized T.
Mm.
I feel that for dogs, like like versus it's kind of like maybe almost velarized instead of pharyngalized, but they're like it could be kind of it's like something comes out as schwa when it's plain and it comes out as ah when it's velarized.
Oh, that could be fun.
Yeah.
Ooh, and hi, Hallian.
That would reduce us to a four vowel system and potentially have ripples throughout the phonology if we wanted to do that. So it'd be a pretty major decision,
Mm-hmm.
and I just want to know.
I'm actually really interested in that, to mimic that sort of, yeah, yeah, that sound that comes out. And yeah, bring those vowels down. Yeah, I think that could be really cool. I don't know that it would be a proto sound, or if that would be something we would derive through sound changes.
The emphatic, it would be, at least the way I see it, it would be proto, and
Okay.
it would be driving the vowel changes rather than the
Sure,
vowels
sure,
driving the.
sure. Um, okay, so yeah, I'm totally on board with doing that. Also on board with entertaining. It may not fit with having this sort of secondary articulation feature, but somebody had suggested the velarized K.
Yeah.
Or well, it is velarized, I guess, with the little KW.
Yeah.
Even though it's kind of more labial. Anyway, but that I'm definitely interested in that too, because again, that gets the I feel a lot of rounding possibilities, and so I am interested in that too. And I forget again who said that. So whoever it was, you should find out, since you're on your user here. If you put your mouse all the way to the right, does it take over my screen? Yeah, there you are. You took over my screen.
Oh my God.
Isn't that bizarre? we have two Davids today on computer, but one host, Jesse. Oh wait, no.
Wait.
No, you're co-host.
You're moving it. No, you're moving it.
I didn't touch it.
You're moving it. Oh my God.
Yeah, it's only on my computer. It'll show up on yours later.
Nobody is moving it.
You are you are such anyway. Um all right. So um oh my gosh, Jonathan, it would be fun to have a t, toi, toi, and pr distinction. Oh, that could be crazy. The ghost of Steve Jobs.
All right,
Um,
I'm gonna bring it back.
you're gonna go back
Bring
to
it
your
back,
own.
and
Okay.
I'll know not to do that in the future. We really need to set up a second user, a
Or
second alternate user.
or I could set up just another desktop on mine.
That's true. But then the idea was that we wouldn't have to reopen all this stuff.
True.
I don't
Anyway,
know why I closed OBS. Why did I close OBS?
it's a great question. Actually, it may have closed it for you. Because remember, when I
Oh,
closed,
right,
it
right.
didn't reopen pages whenever I got back in on my user.
That's right.
Anyway, sorry, this is all behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah.
Okay, all that is to say, I'm super interested in some secondary articulatory features. I also really strongly feel that they would not have a trilled R in the alveolar position.
Yeah.
If there's a trill, it would only be uvular
Yeah.
if we had one. I am, however, fine with the regular, like, or not regular, sorry, the American R. That is so not the regular R. Yeah, yeah. The more bunched or
yeah.
kind of, yeah, that approximate R. I am totally fine with having that as part of the system. I think if we do a lot with the stop distinctive series, I wouldn't necessarily want to flap. And so having that approximate R, I would totally be fine with that. But yeah, I don't think, I think we would have too much going on there.
Let's throw it in for the time being and see where we get. So then let's actually start with the stops right now. Get it?
Sure.
We're
gonna start with the stop.
Yeah. Voiced and voiceless.
Take a long drink and let me think.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. I don't know. What are you all feeling? Voiced and voiceless. Oh my god, my god.
No ejectives. No ejectives. Mm-mm. No implosives.
we're not going to delete all the stops. No voicing. No distinction.
Inspiration could also be a thing.
It definitely could be. But also with having the pharyngeal, like pharyngealized consonant, I don't know that we would need aspiration with having that distinction too.
Well, it could be. Okay, so if we had voicing here, because you can't have voiced and voiceless pharyngalized stops. Yeah, ta, da, and then ta, da. Could be a four-way distinction. Aspirated voiceless, plain voiceless, and then unaspirated voiced and voiceless pharyngalized. Could be what we do.
Okay. I'm saying right now there's not going to be the t and z affricates.
Oh, sure.
So let's go ahead and get rid of those. And can you type out those options in the box just so that way I can see? And again, just type out all the options you had said. We may not keep them all.
Yeah.
But I would like to see that. I do love so much that I am technically at the helm here at the big computer. And I'm like, okay, David, type out all those options. Boom.
That's no problem. I live but to serve you.
Okay, so there would be no regular T, is what you're saying? Like no. Can you say singularly articulated T?
I would just
isolated T.
I would say plain unvoiced alveolar stop.
T. There we go. All our T has add-ins. Okay. So Um, we could theoretically have something like, I'm just gonna put an ah vowel behind it. Ta, da, ta, da. Did I do those? Okay.
The way I was thinking it'd be like ta, da, ta, da. Yeah.
Ta, da, da, da.
Yeah.
Okay. Da. Yeah. Okay. Um,
Okay, so if you can't hear the difference with pharyngeals, it's basically like you are taking your tongue, all right? Imagine you're pronouncing an ah vowel. Ah. Now imagine pushing your tongue even further back. It's your tongue is like going like this, all right? And it's this back part that's coming up against this wall right here. When you have a pharyngalized consonant, okay, it's kind of like there's a constriction in your mouth at that region. So ta 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 ba 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 da 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 da.
I'm not hearing a huge difference between the T and D pharyngealized. And that may just be because my very well tuned to English ears struggle anyway with the unaspirated voiceless stops just because it's like, I expect some air to flow if it's going to be unvoiced, right? In that particular position.
Okay.
And so hearing the difference between that, unaspirated yet pharyngealized voiceless and then the voiced counterpart is difficult for me.
Mm-hmm.
I feel like that could be an allophonic distinction instead of a phonemic distinction. In other words, that in some cases that D would appear voiceless, but it would actually be, you would say T instead of D. Okay. I was going to say have D and then pharyngeal D.
Really?
But...
So, I mean, the language, of course, I'm familiar with is Arabic. And Arabic has pharyngalized T and D, pharyngalized S and Z.
Yeah, it does.
And there's no problems there. But for that reason, it's like, neither one is basic, and so if you were just to choose one, I mean, my natural inclination was going to be T.
Okay.
But you were feeling D, huh?
And I don't know.
Da, 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 da.
I don't know why. That was what I had thought.
Yes, you could, Jonathan, but we're not gonna.
I think what could be interesting moving forward is maybe if we started the proto with just one pharyngalized alveolar stop, we could eventually have them actually contrast because of, sound changes or whatever, right?
I'm really curious to look up pharyngalization real quick. Pharyngalization.
If you can spell it.
There we go.
And it's not that I'm against, by the way, having both the T and D pharyngalized. It was just I was struggling to hear the difference, and I didn't know if anyone else was experiencing that as well. I can definitely hear the difference between the non-pharyngalized, alveolar stops and the pharyngalized ones. It's just like as you were going back and forth, ta,
Chechen.
da. Like that one was really hard for me.
Chechen has a pharyngalized glottal stop.
Ouch.
Come on, man.
Oh. Like that's difficult.
There are pharyngalized fricatives. Chechen just has everything.
Just likes to be pharyngeal.
Pharyngalized voice alveolar trill, of course, Chechen. Let's see.
I understand, Magpie.
Pharyngalized labialized postalveolar approximate, and it says American English.
In what?
What?
Labialized.
It's an upside down R underlined with a little W and a little pharyngeal sign. Pharyngalized, labialized, postalveolar approximant in our English, allegedly. Rah! Rah!
It says help info beside it. Does that mean it's not?
It's like, help somebody realize that this is wrong.
Wow. Wait, go down again. In some dialects of American English, we have
Well,
a
this is another one.
pharyngalized velar approximant.
Yeah.
Oh, oh.
It says see, this is a better. It says in some dialects of American English and Dutch. Sure. But this one just says in American English. I mean, come on.
Oh, well, if it's in Dutch, do you think the American English dialect would be perhaps in Pennsylvania somewhere? Where they're Dutch speakers?
Oh, maybe. I'm trying to see what the...
Looking at the systems that have it.
Yeah, I wanted to see these pharyngalized sounds. How interesting. This is Ubik, or Ubik, which only has pharyngalized labials and uvulars.
Mm.
And it has only voiceless uvulars, except for the fricatives, voiced and voiceless labials for pharyngeals. This is interesting. And then, I mean, since it's come up so much, you know, the thing that I was looking for, I was looking to see if there was any languages that had only voiced pharyngeals or pharyngalized consonants.
You guys are absolutely right. Pennsylvania Dutch is not actually Dutch. Boy, that was silly.
Yeah. It's German, isn't it?
Yeah. Woo!
Right.
We all have those moments where we say things and then go, wait, what did I just say?
You take over for a bit. You solved this problem.
Well, I think the problem was that I said Pennsylvania Dutch is Dutch, and that's just embarrassing. You need to kick me out of the host seat. Move down. Now, in terms of problems, I think what David was saying was we were trying to figure out, well, I thought he was trying to figure out just how many languages may be distinguished between those things. And so that can be difficult. CJ, that is the best thing I've read all day. That is hilarious. If her name had been Jessie, that would have made so much more sense. That's amazing. So, Bubba, we have not made it to the approximates yet, but I promise you, I've already said I will fight for the W because I feel that it needs to be there. So we'll get there, though.
Yeah.
Right now, we're really looking at the stop series.
Yeah, I really would like us to get settled on that before moving on to the other ones because I think the stops are the most stable.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And so it's like here's the question that we're going to have to try to answer here. First, which sounds are going to be pharyngalized, and so we can figure out what the series are going to be. But second, if we don't want to distinguish voicing and pharyngalization, which one is going to be our basic? Now, unfortunately, it's looking like every language that I'm coming across that has pharyngalization distinguishes voicing.
Okay.
Where they don't, it's in places where voicing is typically not distinguished. So, and it favors the voiceless. So, for example, with uvulars, the language we were looking at, it didn't have voiced pharyngals, but it also didn't have voiced uvulars at all. So, okay. Presumably, if they had them, they would be pharyngalized.
Okay.
So,
well, then pop that D back in.
But I don't know because the other thing is that we are creating a language for dogs. And we want this to be something that evokes your spirit,
I just couldn't hear the difference.
Let me try again. Bun. Bun.
Okay, now I hear the difference.
All right.
But
sorry.
Was that something you had to really focus on to create the difference, or is it?
Well, I think maybe one of the times you were listening to me, I was just saying the same thing over and over again. Here, let's see. Let's try all four. Let's see. Talk. Duck.
It, yes, I could have them both. So yes. Oh no, Jonathan's saying that they felt like they heard the difference earlier, but not this
Um,
time. But no,
what do you want to do?
let's,
You
well,
want to throw
let's,
up a poll?
well, we could, but I also like, I'm happy with saying we have both. And then as we do sound changes, if we change our mind, we could always get
It's
rid of the
true.
distinction, and have, voiceless only appearing in certain situations and voiced only appearing in others, thus creating an allophonic distinction. But like, I am fine at the proto stages to say we have both. Now, I listen, I think we should have some labial consonants, but like, I also appreciate some of the comments saying that you don't think they would have as many. And so I would be
Maybe just the voiced ones.
willing to entertain, yeah, yeah, maybe get rid of the P. Um, so just having like B and B.
Mm.
I I feel that.
Yeah. All right. Now, just I don't know if these are gonna be. Oops. I don't know if these are gonna be phonemes or not, but I just want you to be aware that that does exist. There is pharyngalized cha and ja.
Okay.
Now, for velars, no.
Ja.
Uh, I don't think there are pharyngalized velars.
Ka. 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 That's my uvular attempt. How was it? With pharyngeal versus unpharyngeal. Ka. Ka.
I mean, I think it's possible.
No, I'm asking, did it work? Could you hear it? Like, did I do it?
I think so personally. I just don't
Okay.
think that they actually exist. Um, Labial velars, yes, in Chechen.
Oh my God, of course. And CJ, you just cracked me up. Yeah, Joey, I feel like a pharyngalized velar would just end up kind of becoming uvular because whenever I was trying to do the K
Yeah.
with the pharyngeal something to it, it really did just sound like I was doing uvular.
Now, on the other hand, what do we think about? Right. This should actually be. Not a voiced one. Sorry.
Caleb's roommate referred to neutering their cats as removing their treble puffs. And I feel like that needed to be said aloud.
Oh my God.
It's amazing.
Okay, so I'm just throwing this out there.
Whoa. Oh my God. David just went crazy. Wait till y'all see this. Who am I even with? Ka, ga, kwa, kwa. Oh my God. A language that I didn't actually think would have that many stops may potentially have 40 of them.
And uvular.
I have to think about that. Ka, ka, kwa. Is that doing it? Did I do it?
Yeah. Ka, ka. Yeah.
Well, the way you said it sounded very different to what I thought I said. Ka, ka, kwa.
Yeah. Yeah. Clap, clap. You got it.
Woo! Woo! My goodness. I gotta think about this. Tabby is saying, according to Index Diachronica, the pharyngalized K to Q Oh, it's Proto-Semitic to Classical Arabic.
Oh,
Yeah.
yeah.
Yeah, no, I totally agree because eventually you just keep saying a pharyngalized K, you realize that really what you're doing is something like Q. Um, I do not believe I'm going to have a straight, plain palatal stop in this language for reasons. Um,
What do you feel about the palatal affricates at all? Like,
well, I'm torn, partially because I just love them so much. And like, why wouldn't I want a language with them?
they don't feel very doggy, do they?
Um, I mean, I guess if a dog is chewing its food, chop, chop, chop. So not what a dog sounds like when they're chewing food. More like,
Yeah.
but I'm trying to think of like more of those sounds that they do when they're like, again, not a real bark, but they're just trying to like give little warning sounds that aren't growls. And like I could imagine like a cho cho.
Could you now?
Okay, get rid of them. We can bring them back in another way if I want them.
Oh no, no, not if you have that tone. Then they stay.
Oh, Miles, no, it was not planned at all. In fact, I was wearing my Ajnamari shirt underneath, and I just got cold, and I grabbed my hoodie that happens to be in my current rotation, and it is indeed the salty dog.
Mm-hmm.
Dog. Um, no, I can't decide if the palatal affricate should be there. Like, I literally can't decide. Oh, bye, Bubba.
Yeah, later on.
Um, Joey says, yeah, that voiced pharyngeal, yeah, that one's gonna be here. So yeah, definitely. Um, Logan, what was Logan's suggestion? That little chuff chuff slowed me down.
All right.
When I work so hard to convince everyone that it's actually a dog sound, that everyone's like, yeah, okay. Even though maybe it isn't.
All right then. So then, have we got our stops?
Uh, oh, our knight Petrichor says that their friend's dog used to make a sound remarkably similar to like a palatal affricate, with the C when when annoyed. I mean, that sounds almost more cat-like, but um, these dogs can be catty some days, if you know what I mean. Okay, so I am super surprised at what we're ending up with here because, again, going from some minimal system to, well, now the idea of having no minimal pairs could work if we continued this through the fricative series.
Yeah.
We will have 40 sounds to choose from. Uh, so, yeah. Ooh, a generic derivational adverb that just means like this verb means something different from usual, but in a random and lexicalized way. Ah, thank you for telling me what your suggestion was, by the way, Logan. Um, and that does sound really cool. Because one really neat thing about a lot of derivations is that even though they're productive and that they can get used a lot, they're not always consistent in how they get used. Sort of like the er suffix in English when it's a derivation, because like a cooler is a different kind of thing than a painter versus other ers, and so it's really interesting, and so it does end up becoming very lexicalized, and so having some sort of adverb like that for verbs could be really cool. Okay, I get what some people have said, that it feels a little bit unbalanced, but at the same time, it's more front sounds getting secondary articulations from the back, and back sounds getting secondary articulations from the front, which is very balanced. It just looks crazy when you see it all like this.
I mean, it looks super balanced. It just also looks like it has a palatal series for some reason.
I think we may end up needing to take those out.
I mean, I'd hate to do it though.
I feel like some of their teas would just end up becoming more palatable in allophonic ways, just because dog tongues are so flippy flappy
Well, do you think that
and not
maybe?
necessarily precise. So I think we may end up with those in some words without it actually being a proto phoneme.
Yeah, I think you're right.
And so, like, I think that's something we could play with in sound changes. So, like, I don't want to delete the palatal column, even if we end
Yeah.
up with no palatals today. I don't want to delete it. I want to keep that possibility open, but I think what they would end up being is variations on the alveolar series.
Yeah, remember everybody that we're creating protophonemes here. We're not creating the actual phones that are going to be in the modern language. So
yeah,
they may
delete
come back.
those.
They may come back.
I also feel like I know you want all the columns in equal length, but with having deleted that, you can make the palatal slightly smaller, and then the velar will be one line. Yeah.
Yep.
Now it feels more balanced. That's all we needed to do. Now it's a totally balanced system. It's all in one line.
Mm-hmm.
Woo! Okay.
Okay. So shall we just shall we take a moment to celebrate?
Yes. 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 Let's do that. We will. And as I'm trying to read, we're about to get some Kopiko, everyone.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, I found a couple we had missed in there.
Oh.
So I threw some coffee in there just because I didn't want to. These are older, I think, than our
Cheers.
tub. Cheers. To go with my ginger kombucha that I'm drinking. Okay, so now as I'm doing this, I'm also going to be thinking about fricatives, and David's going to do a Kopiko slogan for us.
Kopiko. 4 ain't gonna do it, Jack. You better make it 5. Whee!
Bye, David.
Bye.
Okay.
You know, we haven't heard anything from is Mr. Bib L. Ridian.
No, we haven't.
Wow.
Hope he's doing all right.
He's ankled us.
Okay, one thing I do want to say, whatever we end up doing in the fricative series, assuming we have fricatives, the labial should be actual, like, bilabial fricatives. And we can write them as F's and V's, but, like, it would actually be and
I agree.
I just feel that with the dog structure, they'd be more likely to use the little flappy doos than their actual front teeth.
Yeah. Let's just write that in there for now. Actually, do you want to do the...
You have doomed yourself. No!
Oh boy, this is going to be a story. I can't wait for this.
Also, Caleb got all of his coworkers addicted to Kopiko. Good job, Caleb!
Oh,
and more horizontal.
I just can't wait. Okay. I just know the next thing that Biblaridian is going to say is, I've started playing Minecraft, and now he's just addicted and can't do anything else.
Oh, I thought it was going to be a lighthouse problem. You always talk about him and his lighthouse.
You just replace the bulb. I don't know how many times I have to tell you that.
No, what you need is a magic dragon. Like Pete the Magic Dragon saving the lighthouse.
I never saw that. Yeah, that's all right.
Well, I guess it's Pete and the Magic Dragon because it's Puff the Magic Dragon.
No, it's Pete's Magic Dragon.
Pete's Magic Dragon. There we go. That's the movie.
Mm-hmm.
Genshin Impact and RuneScape. Yes. Yes. Oh, wow. Yeah, that's always difficult when you start a big project and then it just never stops.
Well, Bibler, what I want you to think about is at some point in time, you were only 12% done with those models. And look at you now. Now you're a third of the way done. So, you know what? That's progress.
Indeed.
Maybe you need Copico to help encourage you. Man, why isn't Copico giving us money?
I mean, for real.
We're selling more of their product than they are.
They're probably like, why is there a spike in certain areas of our Copico sales? Okay.
Yeah. Anyway, I was going to ask if you wanted to do the nasals first because I thought they'd be quick.
Oh, sure. Yeah, let's go down to nasals as I'm still thinking about fricatives. That was just one thing I knew for sure on the fricatives that I wanted, other than I do like that pharyngeal. So, okay. I love Wokothishu so much, but at the end of the day, I think it was a mistake that we had the palatal and the velar as proto nasals for two reasons. One, as much as I love them, we forgot to use them.
Yeah.
And so we ended up underutilizing those. And there were many times where we came up with forms where it was just like, well, we really need something beginning with the palatal or velar nasal. And so we just kind of like forced it in. But it didn't quite work out in the way that I would have liked. I think it ended up doing much better in Ingala, where it became its own phoneme, and so it could start syllables. It showed up, but again, that was all through sound changes. And so I think it ended up being much more productive there. Another thing is, for whatever reason, nasals don't feel very doggy to me.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I would be okay just having, say, an alveolar nasal that gets produced in other places based on sound, sound changes. So, like, a basic being like it's basic N, but then sometimes it'll get pronounced M, perhaps a B is after it. Sometimes it'll be, a nya or a nga. We could discuss that.
Very
depending
controversial.
on what's after it.
Very controversial. I like it.
I feel I just don't feel nasally for my dogs. I don't know. Jonathan. This is what I'm oh yeah, welcome. Welcome, Jake. Yeah. I do. Oh, this is a fun name. Wololo Purgisnacht. Or perhaps that's Vololo Purgisnacht. I do understand. Oh my god, that's amazing. Yeah, like I'm holding back from the complete obliteration of nasals. This I feel is very extreme as it is. It's just for whatever reason. And I'm trying to think, like, my dogs. No, 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 no. No, 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 no. Like, I don't know.
No, there are no natlings with no nasals. There are natlings that lack M. I don't know if there are natlings that lack N.
I feel like there must be, because I don't think there's 100% language coverage. Like, when you look at the distribution of nasals, I don't think there's like 100% of the languages in the studies that have N, but they have a nasal. So it's like, it's just that N is the most frequent one if you only have one nasal.
Bibler Indian's got something to Google. I also want to draw attention to what Jonathan is saying. Jonathan is saying is like, if there's only going to be one, he feels like maybe it should be M. Because they basically just open and close their mouths while making sounds sometimes. And it's like, I get that.
Yeah. I mean, M is the next most common nasal, so it could make sense. And it could make sense given the lip flappage. And so I could see starting with a basic M, but again, with, things in place where the M could get produced as other nasals. And Tethys, glad you're here live now. Okay.
By the way, I pulled up the Lao language. First line. Lao, also known as Mala, starting with an M. Maybe it's a different Lao. Looks like it's got M and N. It's pretty, yeah, it looks pretty oceanic, Austronesian.
Miles is saying look up Lushotsed.
Oh, Lushotsed. Yeah, that's a weird one. It always looks like a Pokemon move.
Oh, Tethys says not Lao, it's capital I-A-U.
Oh, thank you. Got it.
And then Jake, I feel what you're saying there. Maybe we should have some sort of mwah. I'm gonna think on that.
So indeed, Lushotsed doesn't have phonemic nasals. However, they may show up in styles or words as variants for B and D.
Oh.
Interesting. Now let's look up Eow. Oh, here we go. Papua New Guinea. Why not?
I mean, they have some amazingly. Wait, that's their consonant inventory?
TKBDFS.
What?
And look at these vowels.
Oh my goodness.
E, I, A, O, U.
Okay, so they have like consonant inventory that's so tiny you just skip past it. And then the vowel inventory is large considering vowel inventories, but then it's like, and check out these diphthongs. Oh my gosh, that is so interesting.
Is this like the only language that has more vowels than consonants? Because it has more vowels than consonants.
So I'm trying to think, because even like Rotokas, which is touted as having the smallest phonemic inventory, I think has 6 to 5.
Yeah. Wow.
I know, right, CJ? And what's funny is obviously the capital L looks different. Like when Miles typed, a capital L in the in tincture here with Lushotsed. The L obviously looks different, and yet every time I see the IAU, like I can't. My brain just automatically is like, oh, Lao. Like it's not even a capital L. Oh my gosh. Oh, and Joey says there's 8 phonemic tones. Holy cow.
Yeah. I'm looking at that. And it also says that it has stress, which I find very dubious.
Yeah, I'd want to read more studies about some of these claims.
Yeah. All right.
Oh, and tincture, Jonathan is correct. That's the language we were talking about. I'm not sure the pronunciation may be something like yell. I would say if I had to guess, but I could be totally wrong. But yes, it is important that you look for IAU and not LAU, which is a totally different language. And so, wow. Okay, so in our nasals, I know Magpie, that is another, well, and like I had said, like I'd like to see more papers. It is always difficult when you look up phonemic inventories of language, of any language, because the way you actually define what a phoneme is could actually differ between even scholars. And so that can be really, really difficult. But then also there's so much, as in any language, and even a language like this that only has 600 speakers, as far as like what the background demographics had said, there's going to be speaker variation. And so depending on who you collect the data from, you could actually end up with different phonemic inventories if you're doing close analyses of them. And that can be really difficult because, I mean, we all have our own little quirks with the way we say things. And if this one speaker says something a certain way and you're like, well, this is what the language does, because a lot of studies that are based on languages this small are really based on a very small sampling of speakers, sometimes just 1 to 3.
Mm-hmm.
And so what you're looking at is a very biased um, system that is being presented. And it can be really difficult to sort through that to know what's actually there or not there.
Mm-hmm.
Um, okay, so David, though,
Mm-hmm.
what do you think about having an M instead of an N as the basic nasal?
Yeah.
And what do you feel about Jake's suggestion of having some sort of like velarization of it?
What does the letter mean?
Oh, with the W. Moi. Ma. Moi.
Oh, so the base form of W would be velarized?
The M. Ma.
Yeah.
Moi.
Oh, 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 oh. Okay. So essentially, there would be like two nasal phonemes, and one would be um, labialized and one wouldn't.
Right, right. Oh yeah, I said velarized because it's kind of
Yeah, yeah,
moi. But you know.
yeah.
Um
I'm fine with that.
although Jake's suggestion was just having a moi, a labialized one, just having that. No plain form. My idea was potentially at both if we had the labialized one.
I think I have both.
Both? Okay. Okay. All right, so Logan's saying there's D-level nouns, N-level nouns with completely different syntactic properties. Wow. Ooh. Jake has some ube and jackfruit ice cream. Nice. Okay, now back to the good old fun. Oh, did you see that since I put that picture in there? It now comes up.
Oh, thank you.
You're welcome. Okay, so now, oh, and I'm going to get rid of then the N as a base phone. Okay, nasals, done.
Yeah, I like that. Okay, so now let's go back to these fricatives because I gotta say, I think that I might agree with those who are not feeling things like
Not feeling the distinction.
I mean, like, I mean, there's definitely, definitely, we have our pharyngeal, we like our uvulars. We can talk about if we're going to do voiced and voiceless. Not sure about velars if we're doing uvulars too, if they're going to be the same. But like,
I
do you
think
feel your dogs doing,
I think
saw,
they're doing saw.
sah, zah?
No. I don't feel very
Yeah.
fricative heavy in this language. I think that the alveolar and palatal systems will end up like in the stops being conflated, like so, where you're just going to have, if there's variation, like it's just going to be allophonic. Because I see them utilizing the back of their tongue so much more than the front.
Mm-hmm.
And so like these sounds could all hit somewhere in that whole region, and it's like alveolar ridge, palate, it hit, and so they would all kind of be interpreted as the same sounds.
So you think that there should be something like a shaja? Oh, hey, Viren.
Oh, I didn't even see Baron.
Oh, we have Bololo Perkusnox and now Arnite Petrichor.
We got some excellent names. Oh, Arnite Petrichor. This is Viren. Oh, okay. Hi. Excellent pen name. All right, Miles says, you know what? No coronal fricatives. Do it. Do it. I also think we should get rid of the velar and stick with the uvular, which is hard for me because you know I don't like that uvular voice fricative.
Oh,
You know I don't like it.
that's because you're not a very angry person. Ah, ah.
Okay.
I think that's pretty good. And so now, just need to look at this approximate section.
Yeah, we do. And we have to ask ourselves, is the y going to be the only palatal consonant in this language?
Now, the thing is, I'm not ready to get rid of the column.
No, I'm not
Because
saying get rid of the column. I'm just asking at the proto level, does it make sense for the y?
yum, 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 yum.
I mean, we do say that dogs yip. Yip, yip. For the little dogs, think of a little dog. Yip, yip.
They don't really do that though. It's just
The yip and the yap. All the central vowels. God, I just like, as I think about a lot of this sounds, I really do hear more of, just that labial approximate. Yaw, 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 yaw. Yaw, yaw, yaw. Does that sound very doggy?
no, it's
Yo, yo, yo. You, you, you.
it sounds like a little mouse singing a very sad song.
Yo, 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 yo. Although if he's sad, it would all be low tone, David. Yo, yo, yo. Yo, yo. That is very true, Magpie. Mm-hmm. And Jonathan, they may never come back. It's just I don't want to close off that possibility.
Hmm.
Mong mong. Oh, interesting.
In Spanish, it's wow, wow, wow.
All those chihuahuas. Which, of course, the first time I saw that where, like, in writing was in the 3rd grade. And so it was Chihuahua in my head.
Yeah!
I totally thought there were these dogs called Chihuahua.
The ancient, mighty Hawaiian dog, Chihuahua.
Oh my God, now I'm just seeing like
inexplicable cha.
This dog with like a little Chihuahua dog with a cape and the lei and like, some sort of like crown fashioned out of some. Yeah. Wow. Okay.
Oh man.
Oh my God. Okay. Bao bao in Greek. We got the B. We got the mung mung covered because we can get the velar. We can get that wan wan close enough with our M that can do things.
Yeah.
I hate to disappoint. We will not have implosives.
Yep. Doesn't feel very doggy.
Yeah, it doesn't. Okay, so now we're down to the L and the R. like a very angry dog. Oh yeah, Chihuahuas. What? Those Chihuahuas. So, a cartoon bear named Chihuahua. L and R.
So, I'm
Rah 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 sounds dog-like.
Yeah, I'm happy with
la,
that.
La la. I don't know.
Yeah, velar. La la.
Do it again.
La la.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Oh, the implosive was a cartoon bear sound. I thought that Chihuahua was, but that's okay. Yeah, no, the implosive does sound like a cartoon bear. I get it. Yes.
There we go.
Thank you in advance, Magpie. Okay. Holy crap.
See? Easy to pronounce, just like you want it.
Well, because we're not going to have any consonant clusters. Yeah, you're right.
Well, maybe a few.
You're right.
Maybe a few.
Look,
Grah.
there's so many of these birds all at once.
Pretty.
So lovely.
Glah. Glah.
They look like little glittering white specks in the sky.
They do.
Okay. Wow, if you had told me even 2 hours ago this is what we were going to end up with, I would have laughed at you.
Yeah, I never would have called this either. Really different.
Yet here we are.
Yeah, we're doing codas.
Well, let me answer, Jake. Jake, yes. We will have codas. Because I said so. Remember whose name is first.
That's right. So yeah, if I know why you're asking, because you want to be sure that we have this word in the language.
Wait, what word? Where'd you type? Oh. Bruv.
Bruv. It's British slang.
Gotcha.
All right. So.
Wow.
All right. So I think the first thing that we need to do is let's ignore for the moment what's going to be happening to vowels with pharyngalized versus non-pharyngalized consonants, and let's. Oh man, do we need pharyngalized labial fricatives? Okay, let's forget about because there's also potentially pharyngalized alveolar approximant. And then I don't know.
Let's hold off on this for now.
Okay.
I would entertain the idea of adding them in if we decide. Because I could see the possibility where, for instance, some... No, I don't. Never mind. Wah. 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 Wah.
Wah. Wah. No.
Oh.
You know what? Now that I've tried it, I don't like it.
I don't either. Okay.
Now, is there a distinction between, like, re and ra? Like, that matters, or...
What?
No, I was doing re.
Oh, ra.
Re, ra.
I mean, I feel like I hear the difference, and I feel like ra is like a sound I would associate with
It's a very doggy sound, yeah.
So are we suggesting we may have an alveolar approximant and a pharyngalized alveolar approximant?
I believe we are.
That is so insane. We have to do it. La, la.
Oh, man.
La, la, la. No, I don't want a labialized velar.
Okay.
La, 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 la. Oh, I don't know. That does sound kind of cool, doesn't it? Shoot.
But it could be the type of thing where it's just so hard to distinguish it ends up being coming W.
Yeah. Well, yeah.
And so now the question is, do we want to put it in the proto stage to have it ultimately get reduced to W? Will there be some important sound change later where it would make a difference if it started out as the LW one?
It could. It really could. And you know what? Absolutely right. That was not consistent.
Thank you. Let's do this.
That was Jonathan, thank you for pointing that out. CJ, when you said you liked the first one more, the second one doesn't sound very doggy to you. Were you talking about what we're working on right now with the Veeler, the Raw and Raw? I really need to know who Catherine Janeway is. Who's Catherine Janeway?
Jesse's never seen any Star Trek. And so she definitely has never seen Star Trek Voyager, which, I mean, above Enterprise is the Star Trek that nobody's seen. So, Catherine Janeway was the first female commander to basically female lead on a Star Trek series.
Okay.
Star Trek Voyager. And I loved Star Trek Voyager. I watched it, at the end of high school and all through college. I thought it was great. Anyway, but you might no. Did you ever see Orange Is the New Black?
Like one episode.
No.
Why is it like a person in it?
Yeah, Kate Mulgrew, and that was the other big thing that she was in. I was trying to think if there's anything else you might know Kate Mulgrew from.
I could look her up while you keep talking.
Yeah, I'm gonna do it. You wouldn't have seen that. I mean, really, it's Star Trek Voyager and Orange Is the New Black. She was great in Orange Is the New Black. Oh man. Oh, she was in Throw Mama from the Train.
Also,
she was also in a television show called
Jessie. And it's not the Disney Jessie.
Apparently not.
But she was in an episode of Cheers, 3 in fact.
Wow, she had a mini arc in Cheers. I'll be interested to see when that comes
And Murder, She Wrote.
Oh yeah, I saw her in that episode of Murder, She Wrote. I was very excited.
Murphy Brown, more Murder, She Wrote.
Oh really?
Again, more Murder, She Wrote. She just keeps coming back. All these different people.
Oh, she did Red Claw in Batman the Animated Series. I didn't know that. She was in the Pirates of Darkwater. Holy smoke!
Gargoyles, which I've never seen, but you have.
Oh, that makes sense.
Warehouse 13, which I've never seen, but I think you have.
Oh yeah. No, yeah, I've seen her in Warehouse 13. Warehouse 13 is great. Yeah. Oh, she did voice in Bubble Guppies. How about that?
That's probably the one I've seen the most of. Anyway. That is amazing. Okay.
7 of 9 was hot. Yeah. But yeah, don't worry. I'm eventually going to get Jesse to watch Star Trek: The Next Generation, but I think that was it. I thought Deep Space Nine was incredible, but there's really so much I can expect from Jesse, and we really have to work up to Star Trek: The Next Generation. It's going to take some time. Anyway, what?
I just like the way you word that. There's only so much you can expect of me. Thanks, David.
Well, I mean, there's only so much you can put you through. Anyway.
Don't you worry. I have a lot of things that I have to get David to watch.
So I put that labialized L in there in red just so that we remember it.
Yeah.
And so what we're going to be doing as we move forward into sound changes, we're going to see if it ever becomes relevant that at some point in the distant past it mattered that labialized L was distinguished from W. If it does, then we're happy to have that there and it'll be neat. If it doesn't, then we'll probably just delete it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh, I'm so sorry, Magpie. You'd think that would be the one that Jesse would be interested in the most because, of course, Star Trek Enterprise
has my man in it.
Starred
Scott Bakula.
Yeah, it didn't just have him in it; it starred him.
That's who I always warn David I may run away with someday. There's only a slight age difference. It would totally work out.
Yeah. Well, it's all right though because I'll have plenty of warning because I'll see his body hair coming first.
Scott Bakula, if you're watching this, I love you. Don't listen to him. He's just jealous. I love you.
Very jealous.
Okay. Okay. So let's.
No, see, that's why I made it red, CJ. That's
Yeah.
why I made it red.
No, we
I'll
definitely
remember
have a reason for red letters in our charts, and
Yeah,
so
this is a step up.
yeah,
Putting it in black, that would have made us forget it.
yeah, that would have made it so. Oh, this was
Yeah.
a sound we decided to have here. Cool. I was actually, as you were talking, I was kind of playing around with the sounds in my mouth, and
Yeah.
I don't think it would make as much sense given our current series of stops, but I was like, I could see an instance where, for instance, a labialized L became a W as an onset, but like if it were a coda and another one followed it, it became a geminate L. But I don't know that that would make sense in this particular language to have geminates, especially since we are going to be sort of, well, I mean, we can have two syllable roots, or we could have two syllables come together as a compound or whatever. So it's not like it won't happen, but like, I just didn't know if that would make sense given our vision for this language.
Tethys actually is a good question, something we didn't talk about. Should we add the labialized versions of cha and ra? Ra.
So we didn't like, in case anyone's asking or wondering, we did not like how it sounded to do the pharyngealized version of the labial fricatives.
Correct.
So the f and the v, we were not fans of ha. No, that was a weird dual articulation.
Yeah.
Did not like that. Did not like that. But that is an interesting question.
Yeah.
Ha. 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 Oh God, I can't do it. Ha.
Not pharyngealized, labialized.
No, labialized.
Labialized.
Ha. Ha.
Yeah.
Ha. Yeah. Let's do it.
Yeah.
Let's do it.
It would honestly be surprising if they didn't, given everything else we've got going on. So that is good. So thank you for pointing that out, Tethys. That was just an oversight. Oh, look at that. Look at what happened. What you've done to my boy.
Palatal can shrink down more.
Yeah, it can.
I mean, we got some space to play with.
There we go. All right. Okay, good.
Because we may be getting rid of it entirely, which means we have all the space. But we don't know yet. We don't know.
Yeah. So then the next thing that I think that we need to do is, and this could lead into our poll, is talk about
Diphthongs.
No, I was actually going to go before we got to the diphthongs because the vowels are going to be, I think, a little bit more complicated.
Mm-hmm.
Consonant clusters.
No.
So we're just not going to have consonant clusters at all?
Especially not with all these consonants. No.
Wow, really? Not even bruv?
So the plain stops.
Go on there, bruv.
The plain stops can combine with the plain approximants as onsets.
Plain stops can combine with a plain
Approximate.
Okay.
As an onset.
All right. Well, let's just start.
Bruh, blah. That one's a little weird,
Here,
but we can
go
make
ahead
it happen.
and scroll the document down if you would.
Ooh, wrong way.
Let's just do that. Bruh.
Okay, but what would the difference be between that and a pharyngealized R in that position?
There would be no difference, and so both, I would say, if we were going to do that, both that and that would become. Sorry.
And right, Jake, like this gets messy. Like, Jake's asking, would there be a labialized K versus K followed by a W distinction?
No.
And so.
No, there wouldn't be. So you remember that the problem we ran into in Tapakla? That's not going to happen.
Right. Right.
So just writing some things down. That's all I'm doing. That's all I'm doing. Okay. Um, but
So
like,
yeah, Jake, I guess we would need to narrow that down even more to say just the liquids, except the B and the D, for instance, don't have a labialized counterpart. So bois and doigt could be segments, whereas qua and qua could not because they are already sounds.
well, what I was going to say is that potentially, if we got there, something like um,
No, I really want this language to be vowel heavy instead of consonant heavy.
both be. I mean, I was going to say that basically that it just wouldn't matter what you put there; it would always come out as labialized. But frankly, I think that just with the labialization, we just don't put W as possible for consonant
For clusters?
Yeah.
Okay.
What do you think about that?
Um,
Where are you
PLWE is
going?
a wonderful thing to have. um, I don't know. I don't know how I feel about this because we have such complex consonants in their own right that clustering them just seems like a cluster, you know?
Well, I just wanted to write some of them out to see what you thought.
Some languages have incredibly stringent consonant cluster rules to the point where it's like these are the only like handfuls of clusters and they actually name them by sounds. So we could have clusters that are incredibly limited.
That seems very difficult. Or also seems very difficult. Or we could just say that the only like depending on how labialized you want to go, we could say that the only thing that comes before ours is what because the R is a little bit labialized. I don't know.
Oh, and
Rather than
Mateus is pointing out we could potentially get a P by making a qua become a P in certain situations because that's a historic thing.
Yeah.
I feel like this is something I'd really have to play with these sounds on in terms of making you pronounce them for me over and over again. That's how I play with sounds of language.
Then there's also that's that, but then there's also oh wait, we already had that. We didn't have that one.
Um, oh my God, Jonathan, that's fascinating. TW to P in Yiddish, but only in one word.
Huh.
And then Karis is saying that in some languages a qua became a p, which then became a pa. And I think Jake is in favor of that.
Come on, baby, and do the fist.
Doesn't quite have the same sound. But that would have to be a quist at the start for this sound change to be.
Talking about TW to P.
Oh, TW to P, yeah. But just in that one word. Mm-hmm. I don't know. This is hard. Part of me is a little like I get it. Like I hear you saying some of these and it's like, okay, yeah, that kind of sounds like I can hear the buildup of like a little growl into a vowel. But like I also really wanted a lot of vowel heavy segments, and so trying to balance that without it just being an insanely heavy language. I guess we could take out the heaviness through sound changes. And so it just starts out as proto, how are we doing all of our little growls and howls, and how are we getting all those sounds, and then finessing them into something more stable.
There you go.
There we go, tincture. That's even heavier than I was thinking. Um, so I'm going to be honest. A lot of the studies that claim they have triphthongs, they're actually two syllables,
Mm.
and so it's like it's really hard. Like diphthongs, yes, but there are a lot of questionable studies that even go up to the 3 and 4 vowels in one. It's like it's hard to decide how to actually analyze those. Hmm.
So we can put things together, but I might suggest this for a poll.
Mm-hmm.
Allow for R to be used as a coda, as a part of the second member of a consonant cluster, or not have any.
Either version of R, like just any,
It will always come out one way or the other. So
depending on what's before it.
so like this one for example,
Mm-hmm.
we would probably end up also for like this. I don't think that we would have a distinction. So these will all come out as one thing, or rather like, you know what I'm saying, like it's probably going to be the case that this is going to come out as, honestly, probably phonetically something like this, not where you actually hear the qua, but just where your lips are rounded the whole time. Qua, qua. And same thing with this. But you know how they often say that the R is labialized in American English? What they mean is that we purse our lips.
Mm-hmm.
That's different from the actual, qua, qua, qua type of thing. But it's just what happens. So, like, you can say it red, red where your lips are spread, but most times, like, red,
Mm-hmm.
where it comes together. That's the type of thing. But basically, what I'm trying to say is the thing that you're worried about is not something I think is going to happen.
Me?
Yes. And also, even though this stuff looks like alphabet soup in IPA, it won't have to in whatever romanization we end up coming up with, because it's not going to be like Tapatla. Tapatla, the problem was there you could actually distinguish one from the other.
Yeah.
We're making it so that it's never going to happen. Never, never, never. The argument in favor of not having any consonant clusters at all is that it would make initial consonant mutations easier.
Which would be cool.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
Can you pronounce with the velar L? Could you do it like a BL and then like a GL cluster for me just so I can hear it?
Blah, 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 blah.
It really feels like you have to really pull that vowel back to do that.
Well, I'm doing just a schwa. Blow, blow, blah, blah.
No.
Glow,
God, that's
blah, gleh.
No. No. No.
It is, Jonathan. It's totally possible, yes. Just a little bit more difficult. Potentially.
The other thing, as we're thinking about consonants, yes, codas, but is everything allowable as a coda?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And this is like, where you were pointing out why have the proto sound labialized velar lateral. That's a place where it could show up if it shows up differently as a coda. And so, like, for example, with Polish, right? This is where like the bright L versus dark L. The velarized L became a W, and the other one became like either regular L or I or something like that. This could be the case where, on the other hand, it's already velar.
Yeah.
Where LW becomes W and L becomes L or something. I don't know. But yeah, like with a lot of these sounds that have secondary articulations, they might get uh, reduced, or what's the word I'm looking for? No,
reduced in coda position.
When two things both come out as the same thing.
Oh, conflated.
That's it at the end of a word, yeah. So like Bach and Bach.
Yeah.
Could also lead to disyllabic. So like for example, maybe Bach is monosyllabic. Bach starts out as monosyllabic, but then it becomes Bachu, disyllabic.
I like that. Okay.
But then, and in fact, this is the exact thing that you were talking about, just slightly differently because it's with consonants. It could be the type of thing if there was a suffix or something like that, it would just surface again as the labialized.
Right, because then it would be potentially like bahwa.
Leveled, thank you. Thank you, Diane. I don't know how to say that.
Dinonid. Dinonid.
Dinonid. 1, 2, 3.
Dinonid. Maybe. Have fun with it. Okay. So I like anything as a coda. I will be willing to leave the clustering in the hands of the patrons.
All right.
Which means, I mean, we'll have some set decisions made about like how many shapes would be possible before we post that poll.
All right.
But I could do that. I am excited to talk diphthongs though.
Yeah.
Oh. Gotta do that. Dino, like dinosaur. Dinonid. Nice. I was having so much fun with all the different pronunciations we could make that have. But thank you for for telling us for sure. Okay, well, we are at the end of a dog-ish stream.
And so we've come to the
end of I will say that yes, with oh, you need more water.
Yeah.
With what we have, yes, a lot of our example words so far do sound like kind of the prototypical angry old man yelling at the kids to get off their front lawn. But also, like, a lot of times when you hear dogs, even as puppies, it's like, oh, aren't you just a cute old man? Just thinking of Winston too with his little snorts. And so, not Winston, Wilfred. Wrong dog. I'll post pictures on Discord, or David will, because I think some of them are in his account. But anyway, so yes, we will figure out this cluster possibility and post that as a poll, and I give it to you, my wonderful patrons, and not our, my 2 our wonderful patrons. Okay.
Who am I? Am I Tuvok? Or am I? I'm probably more like Paris. This is another Star Trek Voyager question. Anyway. You know, if you're Janeway, who am I?
That's a good question.
Yeah.
That will be poll number 2. Neelix.
Oh God.
Whoa.
Oh God.
Wow. All right. So, oh, now Jonathan says Paris.
Thank
All
God.
right. So yeah, stay grammar, everyone.
He's come back.
David has brought out Vincent. And do you want me to stop it from here? Normally I stop it from my computer.
No, I'll stop it.
Okay.
I got it.
You good?
Yeah, I'll do that. But what do we? What's the thing we say?
Oh, well, stay grammar, but also patrons, if you're
Yeah.
still here this Saturday, 1 p.m. Pacific time, so it's an hour later than normal. We're going to be doing our patron stream, and so we look forward to seeing you there as we work on Sarkije.
All right.
Oh my God, we did not get islands in the stream because I did do not disturb on your devices.
Yeah.
We did not. Good call, Jay. Anyway, okay. Stay grammar.
Bye, everybody. Oh, sorry, I hit the double.